Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Muscatine Today show. Super excited to have you guys all with me this morning. We have a great guest. I think we're going to learn a ton of stuff about the community. I am also excited because of this day in history today. I may love this woman. She's amazing. I think pretty much every woman in the world is like, why can't I age like Dolly Parton? Like, why is that not a thing? Well, I am here to tell you that today she's another year older, and she still, I think, looks the same. I don't know how she does it, but today, this day in history, we're focusing on Miss Dolly Parton. She was actually born, 1946, so January 19th, 1946, and I think she still looks younger than me, and I'm like in my early 20s, so she still looking great, and I still love her music. It's like that doesn't age either. We all still love that as well. So I actually pulled up one of her music videos. It was one of her #1 hits, working 9 to 5, because that's what Chris is going to make me do today, work 9 to 5. So I wanted to share that video with you guys all. Quite a difference between today's music videos and this one, but I have to say I might like this one even more than today's music videos. So we'll share that with you now. Just kidding. He's going to look for that. But also, this day in history, another cool thing, which we don't think much about, but in 1915, neon lighting happened. It became a thing. So it was actually... it received its patent today in 1915, and the first, I was looking, I wonder what was the first neon sign? What did it say? Who bought this first neon sign? And pretty much everything. There was some conflicting information, but pretty much all of them said that it was actually a hairdresser who purchased the first neon sign, and I couldn't find a picture of it, unfortunately. I'm sure it was pretty cool, and it's probably worth a lot of money, but neon signs are everywhere now. People pay big bucks for them. They're still super cool, and they were actually 1915. They've been a thing for that long. So Chris tells me he has my music video now. It's pretty cool. So we're gonna go back to that, and just kidding. It's fine. It might just pop up later. It might just pop up later. We don't know. Okay. So the other thing. National days are a thing on the show, and I love looking up. There's a national day for everything. So every single day you can look online and find sometimes multiple things in one day, and it's a National Popcorn Day today. And I don't know, do you guys have the video for the National Popcorn Day? Maybe not so much, but I was looking at some of the popcorn stats, and it is amazing. Everyone apparently loves popcorn because we actually go through 15 billion quarts of popcorn a year just in America, and we love it. We love popcorn. How do you guys like your popcorn? Do you like it kind of original, just right out of the bag? Do you like it to be savory or sweet? Do you have a specific flavor that you're always on the hunt for? My daughter and I love going down to Pearl City Popcorn, which is just right downtown, and we love all the random different flavors the combinations that they come up with, and always love to try out some of those along with the yummy ice cream. But 15 billion quarts of popcorn a year, and apparently 92% of Americans say they like popcorn, that's pretty big actually for us to all like something that much. I am still pretty bitter about popcorn. It was probably 4 years ago that I was diagnosed with diverticulitis, and so now I can't have popcorn, and it is absolute torture to not be able to eat popcorn, because I am a definite lover of popcorn. The smell of it's amazing and I miss it a lot. So apparently a lot of people would. Let's see, it says about 45 quarts per man, woman, and child that's how much we each eat a year to equal up to that 15 billion quarts. All right, so we've got a little funny video about popcorn. When I was searching National Popcorn Day, this is one of the ones that kept popping up, and it's kind of a little prank that they pulled on some people. So this guy is pretending like he's a blind man and tricking all of these people at the mall. These poor people, they're just trying to help this guy out. Whenever I watch videos like this online, I always wonder, I'm like, what inspired these people to do this? Like, what made them think of it? And what was the reasoning like behind each of these videos? Was it just for fun? Were they trying to get a point across? They made a huge mess, and that's always fun. So, but this goes on and on. He does this to a ton of people, and well, for one, it makes me happy that there were this many people that were willing to come over and just help him out. That makes me feel good. But he definitely tricked quite a few people, and the video goes on and on with those getting popcorn just blown out at them when they open it back up. But so moving on, we have a guest here with us. Scott is here with us from MCSA this morning, and there are, I am telling you, a million things we could talk about when it comes to MCSA and all of the things that you guys do there. Today, we are actually focusing on homelessness in the community, affordable housing, some of those things. You know, at the beginning of the year, we're all thinking about ways that we can help in our community this year. And so I love this topic. I want to hear more about.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in Muscatine don't want to believe that homelessness exists, or that it's not a problem in our you know, affluent blue collar
It's
town.
just big cities.
Yeah, it's just big cities. It's Des Moines, it's Chicago. But you have to remember, over half our students are on free or reduced lunch.
Yeah.
Knowing that number, I think it's all of our responsibility to take homelessness serious. We should be proud that our community has a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
There's other cities right around Iowa that don't have a homeless shelter, where things look very different. You see that panhandling on the streets, and we're not treating people with dignity and respect. So being able to treat people with dignity and respect here in town, and give them a warm place to stay is crucial. I think every Joe Schmo knows that without food, water, and shelter, you're going nowhere. You're going nowhere. You can't address those larger self-sustaining things. So at MCSA, we're happy to be able to provide food, water, and shelter to people. Care for those really primal basic needs so that we can build on that total person. And a lot of the things you talk about, all the things at MCSA, a lot of the things we've put in place there are to build onto that total person, with the idea that you can't do any of that without food, water, and shelter being taken care of.
I mean, you think when you mention this, students at school, it's like no one can concentrate or learn or, like you said, build on anything unless you have those basic needs met. I mean, how could you focus on anything?
How does a kid go to school and listen to their teacher when their belly hurts? You know, and that's the reality of some of the kids that are going to school. You know, the school district right now is putting out thousands of meals per day for free and reduced into the community. And people are coming out of their homes, they're driving to Central Middle School and going to get these packages of food. So that tells you the need exists. You know, when MCSA decided to do that truck delivery, we brought in a semi-truck and we had 1,200 boxes of food. People left their homes, came all the way up to Crossroads to pick up this food. It shows you that the need exists. And it's a sad truth, but we need to not just keep throwing food at the problem or keep throwing money at the problem, but address it systemically. You know, what is going to make the biggest impact community-wide on reducing homelessness in Muscatine? And so you ask yourself, what's the biggest cause for homelessness? I've asked all sorts of people that question. I've gotten all sorts of different responses, but the actual factual response is the largest single contributor to homelessness in Muscatine is lack of affordable housing. You know, again, all the landlords in town, they're looking at over 85, 90% occupancy rates, which are fantastic occupancy rates for landlords.
Right.
We have our school districts, we're seeing half of those kids on free or reduced, and we see our homeless prevention numbers just increasing. So we know that affordable housing is an issue. On the city's market demand research project they did, it's on their website. It specifically states that we are 990 units short on affordable housing. So we hear the term affordable housing, it's the world I live in, and like that one term means so much to me.
Right.
Maybe if I map it out. So if you're making $10 to $12 an hour and you're working 32 hours a week, what do you think your take-home pay is per month?
Oh geez, after taxes and stuff. I don't know, maybe $1,000?
About that, right around $1,000. The actual average rent in Muscatine. Take a guess. The average rent in Muscatine.
Oh geez, I'd say more than that probably. Well, maybe not. I would say 900, maybe 800.
You're pretty close. 764.
Okay.
So take 764 away from 1,000. That you're left with 240.
Right.
You still have to buy groceries. You still have to pay your utilities.
Yep.
You still have to buy school supplies for your kids, medical supplies.
Yep.
There just isn't enough room to budget. Something's always going to give. So they pay their utility bill 1 month and skip their landlord 1 month and then swap it over for the next month. I get a lot of people offering, like the folks you serve, Scott, they just need to learn how to budget. They just need to learn how to budget.
Yeah.
I agree. Everybody needs to learn how to budget, but there's nothing for them to budget.
Right.
It makes
you have
no
to
sense.
have something to budget. Yeah.
So we're always advocating and trying to push for a more affordable housing. If you're paying 30% or less of your income towards your rent, you have a chance to sustain in your life and moving to the next level are much more likely. We also partnered with the college. We have a rapid upskilling program with them, where people are staying in our shelter or coming close to homelessness can get rapidly upskilled to like welding or CNA or CNC operator. That gives these folks that we're serving a chance to have a livable wage, making over $15 an hour. We know there's been many studies done on Muscatine. The Community Foundation, MCSA have all partnered on a lot of in-depth research projects. We know you need to make $15.49 an hour to be able to make it in Muscatine.
Okay.
So the jobs that we're trying to upskill them with will get them into those kind of paying jobs. And the time length and how fast the college moves them through these programs is absolutely amazing, because the folks that we're seeing, they need to pay their rent now. They're living in crisis. It's not a matter of, okay, 6 months later, Scott, I'll have that great tradesman job. They need to pay their rent tomorrow. So the college consolidated their program, and it's just hot and heavy. We're going to school for 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. We're going to cram as much training as we can into this stuff.
That's awesome, though, that we have a college in town that's willing to...
That's that versatile. Naomi, Dr. DeWinter has been just fantastic, and she's written papers nationwide that have gone out about these kinds of programs and their success. And you pair that with the social support that the caseworkers and the social workers at MCSA provide. So they're calling the folks every morning. You go to school today, and in the evening you go to school tomorrow. Have you got childcare arranged? Have you got transportation arranged? Just trying to make sure we've got all these little bugs worked out, so that when they're at school they can focus on school. I mean, you think about even adults going to school. You have to make sure those other kids are taken care of, and all of those things are taken care of, so they're not having their mind wander on. And so us in middle class, or lower middle class, upper class, we're thinking about different things. People that I'm serving, they're literally trying to figure out what they're doing to feed themselves today. So they're not thinking of the doctor's appointment that they need to get to. They're not thinking about the transportation issues that they have to get to. They're just, how am I going to feed my kids tomorrow? How am I going to feed my kids tonight? How am I going to feed myself tonight? So we need those social supports alongside the education to help move people through the systems, because they're not always thinking 3 steps ahead like we do. And they shouldn't have to. I mean, if you don't know where you're sleeping tonight,
that's the most important thing.
That's pretty darn important.
That's pretty darn important.
So I've just been really impressed with the college. I've been really impressed with our community and them coming out to support. On the housing side of things, so that's the income side of the homelessness.
Yeah.
On the housing side of things, we've been purchasing some buildings and trying to get some partnerships to rehab them, to turn them into affordable housing.
Wow. Yeah.
Right now we have around 70 units of affordable rentals under the MCSA umbrella, and I think we need to increase that, or at least start, so we can spur other people.
Yep.
So in the neighborhoods that we've been purchasing in, some of the other landlords are now reaching out saying, hey, what can I do?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And so I think we can also do this cost effectively, by partnering with volunteers and churches. We've had some church groups reach out. It's nothing's official yet, so I don't want to release those church names yet.
Yeah.
But they're committing to donating their congregation to doing the labor on these homes, so that we can rehab them and turn what once maybe was a dilapidated unit into the shining example for that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we're working with some other partners to do a whole neighborhood remodel. Not just one house here or there, but just let's get 16 blocks and redo the whole thing. And just keeping all those conversations going with all the different partners in town, and you name them, there's a lot of different partners out there.
Yeah.
So that we can all be focused and passionate and excited about these kinds of initiatives.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you talk about all the partnerships that you're trying to make in the community. What about individuals that want to help with something like that? Is there a way for them to get involved as just an individual?
If somebody just individually wants to get involved, they're not partnered with a church or anything, just give us a call.
Yeah.
We've got a great volunteer coordinator, Marie Frankie.
Yep.
And she's got the Rolodex of Rolodexes of people
I'm
that
sure
want
it's
to help.
huge. Yeah.
So when we want to get these projects together, let's say next weekend we want to go through and do all the windows.
Right.
She can call up all the people that she knows want to do construction.
Yep.
And have them come in and help us out with windows.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
It's really, we try to make everything really simple. Being the executive director there, I tell all the staff, customer service first.
Yep.
We got to treat the clients we're serving with absolute dignity. We got to treat the volunteers absolute respect, donors absolute respect. So everybody's got to walk away from MCSA with a smile.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different balls in the air, but I'm really proud of the team. They've done some amazing work.
Yeah.
One of the things during the COVID outbreak, they housed 40 people in a week.
Wow.
So other communities were putting people in hotels and paying extreme amounts of money, putting people in hotels. But our staff buckled down, got on the phones. It sounded like a call center in our offices, just calling every landlord, every contact they had to try to find a warm, safe place for these people to go and house 40 people in 1 week.
Yeah.
It was very impressive, and if any of them are watching, they will always be in my hearts for their hard work.
Yeah.
They should be proud of what they did, because our community benefited financially and the clients benefited substantially from that kind of effort.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you think about the passion and drive that the people who are working for you have to have for the program to work long hours and be so committed to making all of these, like you said, all these moving parts, all these balls that you guys are juggling as far as how do we best serve our community.
Every staff person there is doing the work of 2 to 3 people.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that. When people think MCSA and all the different programs, some people think we have a staff of 100 or 50.
Right.
No, about 25.
Yep.
25. And so I perform the role of 2 roles, and my accountant provides the role of 2 roles, and Jenny provides 2 roles. So they're all doing at least 2 different jobs, and it's a lot of work, and I'm really proud of them. And if you look at their stats that they're throwing down, it's amazing. We're a national leader in getting people put into permanent supported housing fast.
Yeah.
And we use HUD standards on everything we do. And so I'm just really exciting stuff that the work that they're doing, everybody should come in and see and be a part of. 96% of the families who come into the family shelter leave to permanent stable housing.
That is awesome.
The national average is 30%.
Wow.
Yeah, we're killing it.
You're killing it. That's awesome. They are killing it. Yes.
Again, I'm glad people use the service. I'm even more proud of the staff that are giving, like you said, their long hours, their heart, their passion into it.
Yep.
We have 4 pillars that we say to support our mission.
Yep.
And that's passion is first, compassion, fiscal responsibility, and owning the outcome. And so hopefully if you talk to any of our staff at MCSA, you'll see those 4 pillars shining through. It's kind of like the toolbox of what makes you a great MCSA employee.
Right,
so,
yeah.
It's really good stuff.
It's cool to hear. I mean, we wish as a community that we didn't have to worry about homelessness and, you know, people in our community out, you know, especially right now in the cold, maybe. But I think Jenny was mentioning a program, I guess, really a mission of you guys go out and actually get some raw, like real numbers.
Yeah, so it's called the pick count. It's called point in time. It's one of the things we do for the HUD and for the Homeless Coalition throughout the nation is can we get an accurate representation of what the homeless picture is on any given day.
Right.
And we put the government chooses this day in I think the end of January to go out. They assume most people will already be inside a shelter, so they'll find less people outside in the cold. I think it's a very interesting opportunity for our community to get involved. We'll go out and we'll search under bridges, we'll search in train depots, in abandoned buildings, and we'll look to see if we find any homeless folks. And the feedback that we get from the volunteers that help us has really been eye-opening. They find the experience very eye-opening, just being out there with it being so cold and trying to put themselves in the mind of somebody who's homeless. Like, where would they go? How would they survive? I've had the school superintendent out there with me, and he'll say afterwards, "Wow, Scott, I had no idea." You know, you sit at your desk and you think about these things, but you give it 5 seconds thought. To spend a couple hours actually searching for folks and trying to put yourself in their shoes, really changes your outlook on stuff.
Thinking about being, you know, on the other side of that and being you know, someone who is homeless, who is searching for a place that they could, you know, hunker down for the night or call home for a couple days or whatever. It's crazy to think that is happening in our community, you know, our neighbors. And I'm sure especially right now, I mean, it seems like everyone is hurting, and so I'm sure it's just multiplied. COVID has really reduced our numbers at the homeless shelters, which worries me to some extent because we were seeing a pretty regular number. So what are these folks doing? Have we really gotten to the issue and solved some of the homelessness in Muscatine? I hope so. But are they doubling up with other folks and over-occupying apartments? I think that might be happening. And I think there's been a lot more sleeping in bridges and sleeping in tents and parks. We've had a few calls of people sleeping in some parks around town, and we always go out and explore that. Generally, when we get there, they've already moved on because the police have come through or some other organization has come through. But it breaks our hearts. Usually during the pick count, we don't find anybody, but we'll find the remnants of them being there. So there's been a few bridges where we've seen their camps. We've seen their tents set up in their sleeping bag. There's been under the gazebo at the bike path. We've seen the remnants of people sleeping there. We don't like it when people over-occupy because it increases the chance for predation. So the first time a family moves, they're likely to go to like their best friend's house or something, or their mom's house. But due to Section 8 rules, you can't stay there for more than 7 days, or they have to go be put on their lease. So they have to move. So then they move, they go to somebody else. Maybe not the best choice, but you know, this person smokes. And then after a week, they have to go to the next person and they drink. And then after a week, they go to the next person's house and this person's a predator. And they're putting their kids in just very poor situations. So we want to stop that stuff from happening. We also know that each move a kid makes puts a kid back 6 months educationally. So kids who move frequently are 90% more likely to have failing grades, 80% more likely to have truancy issues, and 70% more likely to have poor behaviors in the classroom. You know, when I think of our community, because I'm not just MCSA's director, I'm also Scott Dahlke, community member with an adopted kid, a cool kid, and then my bio kid. And I'm involved in sports and activities for them, so I'm also a community member. And I think a city needs a big infrastructure, right? And when you think of infrastructure, what do you think of? Roads, hospitals, bridges, right? But at what point do we think of our socioeconomic
picture as an infrastructure and how we address our entire community. If we have half of our students living below poverty level, what are we doing to help those students move through the ranks and experience different opportunities?
Right.
You know, and I think that's where my focus as a community member has been with MCSA, to help us be a huge staple in the infrastructure of our town.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of the work they do, you know, and the stats that they're putting down, like I said, are just killing it.
Yeah. Well, and when I think about some of those things that you were just saying, you know, a kid who, you know, is moving regularly and, you know, can't kind of get that stability, I mean, chances are that's their normal, that's what they think is kind of the usual thing, and then that probably becomes what they grow up to be. And how do we stop that and make sure? It's that
multi-generational thing, and we see that, and that's the hardest thing to crack. And, you know, everybody can think, you know, a week or a year of social work or some treatment will fix that problem, but you don't fix hundreds of years of learned behavior in a year.
Yep.
You just don't.
Yep.
There's a lot of pushing and pulling and hand-holding to get people to move to another level of care.
Yeah.
And I wish we all weren't so naive, and sometimes I'm glad we're all naive about it, but it's a lot more work than the general public can conceive.
Yeah. I do like some of the things that the school district, or, you know, that I've been hearing about, where they're looking at what the picture of a student looks like, and it's not this one student. We have the picture of a student is very different, you know, and where's this student going to go? You know, he's a senior in high school and he might be going to trade school, or this student might be going right into the workforce. And I like that our school district, kudos to them for opening their minds and saying, okay, you know, not every student, not the picture of a student, that doesn't mean that they're going to college after high school. No, so how do we support them and make sure that they're successful?
We all know college is going to be your best chance for success in our society. But for some folks, a lot of the folks that I serve, that's not even in their wheelhouse.
Right. That's not even what they're not even thinking about.
They're thinking about feeding themselves tomorrow.
Yep.
So again, those rapid upskilling programs, or just the trade schools, like electrician is going to pull in a $70,000 income.
Yeah.
You know, that's livable. That's absolutely livable. A lot of people get all stuck in politics and minimum wage and all that. I think our answer really is education, and I think the collaboration between our school district and our college is really fantastic. And the partnering that you'll see there, you know, and partnering, you know, everybody talks about. You hear me talk about partnering, because I don't want anybody to ever think I'm being competitive or trying to get market share. That's not why the community donates to MCSA. The community donates to MCSA to make our community a better place. So you partner, but partnering is not easy. You know, everybody talks about, well, just partner with so-and-so. I mean, you've got that many new bosses. Every time you add in a partner, you've got a new boss and a new opinion on how you do things. And that rubs people the wrong way. You know? So, and I encourage anybody who hears of an agency that's partnering, pat them on the back and give them a hug, because it takes care, it takes effort, and it takes you dropping your ego and saying, hey, I really want to do this for the betterment of our community. And it may include a revenue loss, it may include lack of, it may take away your control over a thing, but it's the right thing to do for our community. And so we keep pushing that forward, and I keep trying to build partnerships in everywhere we can. We're building a medical clinic in our basement, our lower level. So people will actually be able to come in and get medicine instead of just getting wellness screened. They'll be able to get medicine. It's another partnership that just changes things, and it takes care and it takes energy and effort. It's something we're really excited about.
I talk all the time about, I mean, I think our community has a ton of resources. There's a ton of resources out there, but how do we get those resources to the right person? How do we make sure that they know that they exist? And so it's nice that a place like MCSA, they can go there and there are a lot of resources just right there in that building. You know, a lot of help can take place in that one spot. And
we have a lot of resources, but I also don't think people understand how utilized those resources are. So try to find a group home. If you have a disabled child, try to find a group home. We have them, so we have the resources. But there's waiting lists for every single group home in town. You know, the homeless prevention program, Maya's working her tail off. Her numbers are outstanding as far as the number of people she's seeing, and she always sees everybody, but there still is a lot of utilization of those programs.
Yeah.
To get in to see a psychiatric provider in town.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's a long wait,
Yep.
6 months to be able to see a psychiatric provider. So while we are growing and we're getting better, there's still more we can do. There's still
Yep.
more we got to do. And I'm always looking how we can streamline things,
Yeah.
how we can consolidate things so that we can have a much more targeted marketing tool of the community, so that we're getting into the hands of the people who need these services. And I
Right.
think putting all those services in MCSA gives Muscatine a resource center.
Yeah.
They can say, go there, try there first. If you can't find your answer there, then we'll try somewhere else.
Right.
But at least you got a one-stop place that we can get things started.
Sure. Yep.
I also want to make sure everybody knows that everybody will always be welcome at MCSA. No one will ever be kicked out. No one will ever be banned from our facility. I will never be at capacity. I want to make sure that people will always have a place to go.
Yeah.
So anytime anybody's punished or banned or any of that all has to be approved by me.
Yep.
And I won't do it.
Yeah.
We'll always dig in. We'll always find another way to serve somebody. There are times that we have to incent good behavior or discipline poor behavior.
Sure.
And those are hard. And we try to tackle that as a team and have a multidisciplinary approach to those things. But for certain, I won't. As long as I'm there, we won't be turning anybody away.
Yeah, and that's important for our community to know, for people who are, supporting a program, to know that, that you're doing everything that you can to make sure that everyone in the community is taken care of.
We will bend over backwards every chance we can.
Yeah.
Sometimes due to safety, there's things that we have to do.
Yeah.
But those times are very few and far between.
Yeah. Another cool thing that I want to mention before we wrap up the show today is something really cool that somebody on our team's doing, which is Beyond a Sunny Day. And we're going to talk more in detail about it tomorrow on the show when I sit down with Chris. But he is living proof that someone can make changes in their life and do positive things in the community and positive things to help them, just move through day after day after day. And I love the name that he came up with, Beyond a Sunny Day. You think about each individual day, and I'm sure we all think about even just the name of this in different ways, but when you think about a sunny day, we all want to just stay in that sunny day, but there's beyond that, and how do we continue after that sunny day.
Anybody who knows me knows how absolutely passionate I am about mental health.
Yep.
I can't look in the eyes of another family member who's lost someone to suicide and not do anything to help.
Yeah.
And so I've brought as many mental health services as I possibly could to town. I've tried to increase the quality and the capacity of our mental health services. And having that peer drop-in center, which inspired the paintings that Chris did, is so crucial because it's so low barrier. You just come in, you don't have to say anything to anybody. You can just sit down and have a cup of coffee. And partnering with Chris to put out those paintings for that was just a natural fit. I don't want to talk about his story. He can talk about his own story. But there's a reason we chose him to put out that artwork. And Jim Elias coming through and saying, "Hey, what about this little fundraiser?" It's not about the money. It's really not. It's more about the message of mental health awareness and what can we do to help. It's okay to not be okay. I'm stealing a little line from Michaela's Hope. It's okay to not be okay. We just need to find a place to put that. And I've always told everybody, if you're having all of that pain and all of those emotions and all those feelings inside here, you can't deal with it because you can't see it. You're bottling it all up. So if you just put it out, just put it out there. It's easier to look at it and digest it and dissect it and deal with it. All my years in mental health, whenever somebody sat down with me, it was just a vomit of everything. And there was no chronological order to things. They would explain life events, and sometimes they would talk about being an adult and then a kid, and just nothing was in order. But the more they talk, the more we can put it in logical order, the more we can dissect that. And when you do that, when you can put somebody's thoughts in a logical order for them, you hear a sigh. You hear a sigh, and you know you made a difference. And that person may never come back again for treatment, and they may never come back to you to vent again. And that's okay. Sorry, I talk about mental health.
No, that's okay.
I get passionate about it, but I'm just as passionate about treating people that are homeless and treating people that are food insecure. Maybe I'm passionate about too many things, but I don't
think you can be passionate about too many things.
I love people. I think my dad maybe watched too many Rocky movies growing up. So
Rocky, it's a good one. I don't think
for the underdog is something that
Yep.
I'll probably do until I die.
Yeah.
And it gives me purpose and it gives me fulfillment. So
Yeah, I love that the community is supporting, Chris, but also just supporting anyone's passion, like anyone's way to get through the situation that they're in. So for Chris, it's painting, and that's how he gets out his feelings, and that's how he helps other people, and that's how he explains his story, and it's really cool. And I'm excited to talk more about it. I don't want to talk too much about it today, but they're actually, let's see, I want to get the date right. So Beyond a Sunny Day. So the actual exhibition will happen February 12th through the 27th, right downtown. You can go check out the paintings that he's done. Some, if not all, have been purchased by people who want to hang these in their homes. But you have a lot of ways to not only support Chris, but to support MCSA. He's decided to donate, some of the proceeds of this to MCSA back to a place that helped him along in his journey, and that's always super cool. I am excited to be on the same team as Chris. It's cool to hear the stories and the things he's been through and the way that he's overcome things. And I think other people will be inspired, whether they're in that situation or whether there's somebody that's in a situation that they can help. It's pretty cool. And
two of the county board of supervisors were at that debut for the Peer Drop-In Center and purchased some of his artwork.
That's awesome.
It was cool. One was in tears. One of them, not gonna say any names.
Yeah.
But one of them was in tears when he saw one of them. I said,
yeah.
Art touches people differently.
Yep.
And some of that stuff just grabs you.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
It's cool to know that the story behind those paintings. I think we have a couple of them loaded. Even we'll just flip through them quick today to give you just a little smidge, a little, I guess, teaser for tomorrow's show. But tomorrow, Chris is willing to sit down with me and talk about some of the meaning of these that he's painted. He's painted murals around town too, just help kind of brighten up our downtown. But I am excited to talk more about this tomorrow in depth, but I hope you guys will, on Facebook you can find information about this and how you can go and see these in person, but we'll talk more about it tomorrow and how that ties into MCSA and just the community as a whole. I have to ask you to do what's in the box before you leave for the day. We'll see. I'm not even sure it's not alive, I've been told, so you're good to go on that. It's not gonna bite you or anything like that. But so we'll pop those open. You have to close your eyes so you don't see in the TV, but you can see if you can guess what is in the box today. This is sponsored by Toyota, one of our show sponsors.
Fingers different colored?
No.
Oh, okay.
I hope
weird.
not.
It feels like nerds.
It's not nerds.
That's why I was gonna say, if I get blue and green fingers after this, someone's gonna pay.
And it was Chris's fault.
Chris's fault.
I always blame him for everything.
All I can think of is those beads that you do necklaces with.
No. Think about what National Day it is. That's my hint.
These are popcorn kernels.
Yes. Yes. See, you can guess. National Popcorn Day.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Winner. So, thank you so much. And I've said this every time you guys have come on, but we'll have someone from MCSA on every single month to talk about the different projects, the different programs that you guys have.
We wanted to start bringing clients in with us.
Yes.
I was talking with Chris, and that was one of his ideas. Like, why don't you bring some clients on the show with you? And so we talked to a bunch of them to come out with me today.
Yep.
And they're all just so humble.
Yes.
It's not something, I'm sure it's not something you want to broadcast to everybody.
Sure.
Like, I'm homeless.
Yep.
But a lot of our folks, they don't mind talking about that stuff. It was just too nerve-wracking for them this time. So
that's fine.
Maybe another time we'll be able to get some guests to come on and show you, because some of them, they really do make you want to cry.
Maybe instead of doing it live, we come out and let them tell their story. We can just video it so they have that. I don't know. Sometimes live for people is like, oh, what if I say something wrong? So that's an option too.
I talk a lot too. So I told Jeremy, there was this guy Jeremy, he's killing it at the shelter.
That's awesome.
He's doing like all these maintenance projects for us. He doesn't want to be lazy. And I told him, I'll talk for you. I'll stop you if you start saying something silly, No, I don't, it's okay. I'm all right. I'm all right. He's just, and he really is a humble, quiet guy. But if he's out there and he sees it, shout out to him for being so cool. Wish he'd come out with me, guy, but you know.
Yep. Yeah. Well, one day somebody's going to want to come out. If not, if they want to tell their story, I mean, I want this to be a platform for them to share and probably inspire other people. So if it's not live, we can always do something. We'll accommodate them any way that they want to. So let them know that. But thank you so much for coming on and opening our eyes to the fact that it doesn't just, homelessness doesn't just happen in big cities. This is happening right here in our community, and there are ways that we can help. I always encourage people to go to your website. There's tons of not only opportunities to sign up as a volunteer or, you know, call and tell them what your talents are, what you're good at, and she'll put you to work.
We actually have 2 job openings.
Oh!
We can advertise that.
Yeah.
Still looking for a food programs manager and also looking for a housing stability navigator. So a social worker and a manager, someone who's got experience in that management realm.
Yeah, so you can even get paid and work there.
Boom, boom.
Or you can volunteer.
Remember those four pillars: passion, compassion, fiscal responsibility, and owning the outcome.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much again for coming on. And I always look forward to sitting down with people from MCSA and hearing about all the cool stuff you got going on down there. Thank you guys for joining the show. I want to go to the Hy-Vee aisle cam, which we have honed in on some Valentine's Day treats today for you guys to start thinking. I'm trying to give you guys a lot of warning about Valentine's Day being right around the corner. I feel like all these holidays are sneaking up on us. Just one right after another, but Valentine's Day is not too far away, and actually the floral shop here at Hy-Vee has some things that they've been highlighting, and there are some early bird specials for you all. So if you don't want to wait till the last minute to order those flowers or something from the floral shop here at Hy-Vee, you can get some early bird specials. Big rose bouquets for $50. I mean, they're gorgeous. I think, yeah, I mean, there's one behind me. So pretty. Look at those. Roses are pretty. But they have so many different options over there. I love, that's one of my favorite parts of my day, is getting to see what they put on the set and what gets to be on my cute table. Everything from roses to, you know, bouquets. There's so many different things over there that you can choose from. So I hope that you guys are thinking about this at least. I saw yesterday, I was out and about killing some time and taking my mind off some things, and I was at the store and I saw this gentleman and his young daughter. I didn't want to be too creepy, but I could tell that they were searching maybe for mom a gift, and it was cool to think and to hear about the things that she thought her mom would love for Valentine's Day, and it's pretty cool. So take your littles out. Dads, I'm telling you, that is going to get you some big brownie points if you take those littles out to buy those gifts for Valentine's Day. Moms always enjoy and love that. But I hope that you guys will all come and visit Hy-Vee. The people at the floral shop here are just so talented and always come up with creative ways to kind of bring your vision to life. So think about Valentine's Day. It's coming up. I'll keep reminding you. But I am excited for tomorrow's show, so I hope you guys will join us again and hear more about a sunny day, beyond a sunny day even, and all of the stories behind those paintings. It's pretty cool to get to know Chris and to be able to hear some of these stories on a regular basis. But for you guys, I think you'll learn a lot about why he painted some of the things that he's done, and also just to be able to think yourself what those paintings mean to you, what you see in those, and how they affect your life. So thank you all so much for joining, and we will see you tomorrow and talk more about that. But until then, remember that kindness is free. So spread that stuff wherever you go.
TJ Deere here at Toyota Muscatine, and this is what it feels like to have a brand new Toyota.
It's the new car smell. It's the new stories.
It's the new adventure.
It's the memories.
Come and see us for your 2020 Toyota.